Oh, Lord. My internet. Okay, thank you. I was going to freak out. Hey, everyone. Okay, so this is hella last minute. So I started to think I said, I could wait until tomorrow, but I said, no, let me just go ahead and jump and do this. So this is, of course, for Sagittarius. It is the soul session for March. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump in and get started to see what it is we can find out for Sagittarius for the month of March. Let's see. I'm going to start with an overall energy, and then after that, I'm going to go ahead and hop into your cards. And I think my internet is being a good machine today, so I think we'll be Gucci. Whoop. Let's see. I hope you guys are having, hey V. I hope y'all are having a happy Monday. Whoa. Whoa. One card only. There we go. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so first card out that we have. Hey, Nyambi. I always, when I said your name on the video, I missed you too. When I said your name on the video, I was like, let me make sure I don't mispronounce it. I think I just did. The first card out that we have for you guys for the month of March is resentment. It says reoccurring feelings of anger, fear, bitterness, hostility, or disappointment of a perceived injustice from the past, inability to stop thinking of and re-experiencing these strong emotions, annoyance at being forced to accept something not liked, inability to forgive or move forward. So with the month of March, Sag, this is going to be something that I feel is the highlight of the month, more or less, meaning the work that is going to be done by the Sagittarius Collective in the month of March is going to be centrally focused on a seed of resentment. It's not saying in the bigger scheme of things that you're like, a resentful person, but I feel it's one particular instance or slight, if you will, that you guys have experienced past tense that's going to be highlighted for healing in the month of March. And the next card that we have that came out, oh, I like it. It's four-leaf clover. Wow, legit. My autofocus is even being nice today. And it says great good fortune. So I feel with this, if I were to say what I'm picking up intuitively, I feel how this would end up manifesting. It would kind of be because I feel what this is, I don't even feel like this is something that's really top of mind to you guys. So I feel how it is it's going to be brought to the fore is via like a trigger. So it could be something as simple as a movie that you watch or a TikTok that you see or a story that you hear and it just kind of hits you and it's going to remind you of some deeply, kind of covered up resentment that you have towards a particular person or situation. But just keep in mind that the only reason why that would be coming up is for healing. So it's not for the intention of you guys just being triggered for triggered sake, because I feel this is something that's kind of seated in you guys that is influencing. And this is literally reminding me of every sign I've done before you guys, because that's kind of been the central theme of the collective, where this month is a month that's all about healing, but it's pinpointing one thing in particular that's been with you for some time that's kind of blurring your vision, if we will, if I could say that proverbially speaking. It's okay, there's our third one. It's blurring your vision or influencing how it is that you're engaging with life, engaging with people, how you're perceiving your circumstances. And the whole premise of this is it's holding you back from the path that you're intended to walk, or taking chances or coming outside of your comfort zone. Now, the next card that we have, oh, interesting. We have frying pan, and it says trouble, accusations. The next card is eagle, triumph over troubles and obstacles. So this is reminding me already, Sagittarius, of I don't know if you were here on yesterday. I think that was yesterday. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday when I did Aquarius and Capricorn. This was reminding me of both of those readings, because the thing is, in the month of March, there's something that's coming for you guys, but the energy signature that you're coming into the month of March with, aka this resentment, right? This is something that needs to come to the surface to be healed, so that you're not blocked. But that trigger that I was talking about, that's legit what this frying pan would be speaking about. So the thing is, how I told you, this could come in the form of you watching like a movie, or you hearing a story about someone else. And I think what it's going to be is you hearing a scenario, or for some of you it could even be direct with someone accusing you of something, but it's more or less you hearing a scenario about a person who's being accused of being like a particular way and they're not. So it's more or less like a misjudgment, and you being triggered by that and kind of processing like, why is it that that's bothering me so much, or why is it that I'm so upset about that? Or if someone accuses you, and I feel the responsibility you guys are going to have this month is, when this trigger happens, is for you to not like react, but to kind of sit with yourself and say like, why does that bother me so much? Like, if I know who I am, like, why am I tripping if a person is saying something about me that isn't true? Or if you got really upset watching this movie, it's like, why does that bother me so much to see a person, be accused of something that isn't true about them? And I feel that's going to open you up to be able to process this in a healthy way. And like I said, once again, that's coming up to keep you from tainting this particular energy with that resentment. Because I feel it's kind of something where an opportunity that's presented that at face value, it doesn't really, it won't present itself as, and I said this in a reading before, I can't remember if it was in a weekly, but the form it's going to come in is, if you thought about like the Ace of Pentacles, it would come in the form of like an Ace of Pentacles, and you're looking for a 10. So you would kind of disregard it because it's an ace and not the 10. But whatever the case, it's saying you're going to have victory this month, because it's going to be triumph over this. So the first card out that we have, this card is like stalking the entire collective. It's the Two of Wands in the reverse. So much like I said for Capricorn on yesterday, Sag, there's something that has to be left behind. We already know what this thing is that has to be left behind. So of course, this is your energy coming out of February and into March. So with the Two of Wands in the reverse, we're talking about a level of sacrifice. But much like I've said for everyone prior to you, what it is that you're sacrificing and what it is that you're giving up is not anything you would really want anyway. So with this resentment, it's something that's been with you for so long that it's almost like, I don't know why Spirit is showing me this. I'm seeing like a person with a thorn in their foot, right? So it's like you've had this thorn in your foot for so long that you've gotten accustomed to it being there. So you kind of shifted your weight to the opposite leg, and you use that leg more than the other. And it's been there for so long that it's like, this is just life. Like, I'm just used to, walking around with this thorn in my foot. And it's like the month of March is giving you an opportunity more or less to sacrifice that thorn. So saying that in the vibration of the Two of Swords, the only thing that's stopping you or preventing you from living a full life or moving forward is this proverbial thorn in your foot, right? But you're not necessarily seeing it as a thorn because you've had it there for so long. So this is kind of you, coming up to a doctor and then being like, hey, do you want that thorn in your foot? And you're like, what thorn? And you're like, oh yeah, the thing. And it's like you sacrificing that, letting the doctor pull it out so that you can walk upright again, if that's making sense. The next card out, hello, that we have is the Sun card. Come on with it. That's Leo energy. That's freaking beautiful. So, dude, legit, top of the month. First day of March is mañana. It is tomorrow, right? So legit, I would say within the first week, and I would even want to say there it is. We have the devil, that's Capricorn energy. Um, I would say the what is it? The Pisces new moon is on the second, if I'm not mistaken. Take full advantage of that, meaning that with a new moon, you want to set intentions, right? So make sure that you set intentions with the full moon because I'm feeling heavily with this. This is really speaking to like the showdown, if you would call it that. My hair. Being in the first week of March. For some of you guys, I don't know why I feel like a pressure, like something time sensitive with this, but and that's probably the reason why I'm saying the new moon in Pisces. Set intentions, but I feel something about the second of March, dude. Did I say February? I meant to say March, but it's something about because it's that first week of March is where, and it's not for everyone, because if I were to bring this out of the ethereal and put it into more 3D kind of stuff, I feel this is like a deadline type of thing. And this would be a deadline. And I'm not saying like a spiritual deadline, like spirit is saying figure it out by this day. But this would be something that's going on in your life that you know there's a time restraint on, and a decision would have to be made specifically like in that first week of March. For those of you where that doesn't apply, I would definitely set intentions because I look at that as an energetic statement that you're making, right? That's gonna kind of bring this to you, and it's you kind of overstanding the situation and you being in control of it as opposed to it being like a haphazard, shocking type of thing that would happen. But once again, this is sacrificing this thing with this two of wands and looking at this devil. That's exactly what this resentment is. It's something that's holding you captive. It's something that's making you prisoner to yourself, right? But once again, like I said, for some of you, if you're like, not in therapy and already processing your stuff, you would have kind of like an idea of what this would be speaking to. But for others of you, what this is really speaking to is what is the shade to your, full on fulfillment and happiness and things of the sort, or what's stopping you from being the fullness of who you are or shining your full light, to the world, if you will. And I know that sounds so lofty minded. It's this particular proverbial thorn that we're speaking about that's been holding you captive. So when I say that it's been altering your perspective, it really goes back to what I've been saying to the whole collective about this month is it goes back to a moment in time when you made a decision to stop being yourself, right? It's like when this seed of resentment was planted. So it could be a heartbreak, it could be getting fired from your dream job, it could be a myriad of different things, getting backstabbed by a friend, things of the sort. But in that moment, it's like we changed course and we started behaving in a way that isn't us. But so we stepped on that proverbial thorn, if you will. So it's not really seeing how we've altered so much because of that one particular moment. And in the month of March, Spirit is giving us an opportunity to vindicate ourselves from ourselves, right? So it's like facing your shadow, facing the devil, facing that pain, and you being the one who sets yourself free, as opposed to it being like, tower energy. You know what I mean? Where in what do you call it, like a shocking, unforeseen event is what sets you free. The next card that we have, speaking of Scorpio energy with the tower, come on, autofocus, don't be a jerk. Well, it's death and rebirth. That's what card it is. And of course, that's Scorpio energy. So once again, with this falling underneath this two of wands in the reverse, guys, there has been a call on your life for you guys to go through a major transformation, right? This energy has been with you for some time. And I think it's almost like how I'm feeling it you guys have felt it like beneath the surface, almost like an itch. Like it's a part of you that has wanted to like break free. And even if you're not in a position in your life to where you're necessarily oppressed, it's just like this itchy feeling inside of you that wants to do so much. And the thing I just heard is like for some of you, it's like travel, right? And for some reason, it's like, because of your job or you having to take care of certain people, whether it's like parents or like kiddos or whatever, it's just this pressure and this burden that you carry of something inside of you is like screaming out, like you want to do something different. Like, I want to break free. And it's like, break free from what? Like if you're having a conversation with yourself, it's like, I don't even know what it is I want to break free from. And an example of this in a mundane sense would be like this travel itch, where it's like all of a sudden you just feel like you just need to get out, you need to see things, or you want to do something different, but it's this feeling as if you can't, right? And I believe it's like life circumstance stuff that you're telling yourself is what's stopping you from like being your full true self or living your best life. But it still goes back to this. And the other thing Spirit just told me, ooh, all right, that just got a little deep. This is a sidestep message, and this is like not what the main thing I'm saying, but it's a probably one person, to be quite honest with you. But this is like someone who you would be taking care of like a ailing parent. Because it doesn't feel like a child. I think it's like a ailing parent, or it would be a parent that maybe has issues with addiction. So it's a person that you're responsible for. Either they're sick or well, I mean, addiction is an illness within itself, but it's like a parent that you're taking care of. And I feel this person is younger, and younger to me is like, early 50s, 40s, 30s, all the way to 20s. But this is a person where it's almost like you had to grow up a little quicker, as an adult, meaning because you had to take care of the parent. And that's a part of where this resentment is coming from, because it's this thought of, I can't live my life. Like there's so many things that you want to do, because I feel like this is a person where I don't really feel kids. I don't really feel kids. But yeah, I don't really feel kids. So this would be a person who, if you did have kids, would probably be like one kid or something, and maybe that kid would be like older. But it really feels like single female vibes to me, and it's taking care of a parental figure, and it's having a sense of resentment because you are this caretaker, but then you feel guilty. It's kind of like a cycle that Spirit is showing me. It's like you're frustrated because you're limited in what you can do because you're taking care of this parent, but then you feel guilty for even feeling that. You know what I mean? So it's like this kind of vicious cycle. So it feels almost as if your life is like out of your control. And that's where a lot of that feeling of like wanting to like scream out. And the thing with that, because this is a total side message, y'all, the thing with that you need to know is there's a respite that you need, right? It's like, of course, if you're taking care of this parental figure, that is a responsibility, but you still have to take care of yourself in the process, because I feel this person I'm talking to, they're taking on a lot, and it's almost living your life through should oughts and supposed tos. And granted, you know, taking care of your parent, that's cool, but you still need to take care of yourself in the process, because taking care of parental figures is a big deal. You know what I mean? I my mom takes care of my grandparents, you know what I mean? And I know how hard it is for her, and I have to tell her that a lot of the times it's like you have to prioritize yourself. You have to take time out to take care of yourself. So there's lots of resources for that, because this is interesting. I really feel like I'm doing like a PSA to this person. It's like there are resources in your area that are for young people who are taking care of ailing parents. And I mean, whoever this is I'm talking to, please shoot me an email. My email is marlo@thewoketherapist.com. And wherever it is that you are, I'll send you any resources that I can find that are in that area this is so interesting. I'm having a whole conversation with a person, but just shoot me an email and I'll help you out in any way that I can. But getting back to this main story I'm feeling here with this sensation of wanting to like break free, of wanting to like scream out, what that's really coming from, Sag, is this rebirth that's intended to happen with you guys. You know what I mean? Why is my autofocus not being nice? Whatever. Y'all get the gist. But anyway, but it's a rebirth that's intended to happen. So it's a full transformation for you guys. And the only thing that's holding it up is this resentment and that thorn, if we'll call it that, that's holding you or chaining you rather to your past. And it's more or less, I see it as like mindsets, man. It's a perspective. So aside from the person I was just talking to, I feel with you guys, it's like a prison of the mind. So it's like you're telling yourself because you're too young or you're too old or because you don't have money or whatever the case is, the reason why you can't do what it is that you're feeling called to do. But I feel wholeheartedly with the sun card, dude, that's your deliverance. Like whatever it is that you guys feel led or compelled to do, and that's literally starting in February and then coming into the month of March. I don't care how silly it sounds, how outlandish it may seem, but it's like that particular thing that you follow is going to be your deliverance, because it's like y'all are on the cusp of like a personal revolution, if you will. And it's directly contrasted to the sun card and this death in the reverse. It's something you're holding on to that is the main thing that's keeping you from being able to turn this wheel, if you will. Next card that we have is the good old Eight of Pentacles. And this is reminding me, seeing that, of what came out in you guys extended. It's so interesting because it's Sagittarius on your journey with yourself. You've been working very, very hard, much like what I told Aquarius. So if you have that in your chart, definitely check it out. It's like you have this tunnel vision and you've been focused on mastering yourself. But I feel the way that you all have been doing it is very linear. So it's very like step by step, and with things like this, it seems kind of frivolous. Like whatever it is that's rising up that you guys are feeling an inspiration to pursue or to do, it doesn't necessarily fit into this Eight of Pentacles energy, like this very practical, realistic, methodical way of ordering your life. It's like this method is what will work to get you to success. But it's like at the same time, and that's even picking up on that energy again of that person I was talking to. It's this sense of responsibility and showing up and doing what you're supposed to do. And in essence, that's a good thing. But too much of a good thing can very easily become a bad thing because it can become oppressive because you're not being mutable. You're not giving yourself an opportunity to really move around. So I'm almost seeing, because I keep getting brought back to the sun card. And I really hope autofocus works with me here because I need to do this illustratively. Come on, autofocus. Don't be a jerk. Don't be a jerk. If you see how this young lady looks, like she's opening up to the sky and she's being free, right? She's full on liberation mode. It's like what I see in contrast to this, to the energy that comes back to this, is like a person who's crawled up in like a little ball. You know what I mean? So it's like those two energies are in direct contrast to each other. But it's just this thorn that's preventing you from being here because this is the byproduct of this death upright. It's like if we died to the old way of being, if we died to the old things, that is the only thing that's standing between you and the life that you want. But how it is that this is being enacted is it's almost being oppressed by like a methodology or a schedule or it's like some sort of system or structure and, you know, a way of doing things that you're so used to. And caution has to be thrown to the wind. Like that's where your liberation lies. It's like the liberation that you seek, you figured that it was this very ordered, structured pattern to get there. And it's almost like the thing that's gonna set you free is the thing you would have never fathomed, which is like, and it's making me think for all my old people. If you remember the Magic School Bus and Miss Frizzle and how she used to say, like, let's get messy and make mistakes. It's like that is the liberation of Sagittarius. And that's something that I feel you guys are going to learn this month. So, whatever inspiration it is that you guys have to do something, I don't care how crazy it seems. If, like, you know, if spirit literally tells you, like, go to the park and go swing on the swings, like, go to the park and swing on the swings. Yes, you are a grown ass adult, but go swing on the freaking swings, because I feel it's something as crazy as that as calling out from work, taking a mental health day. You know what I mean? It's something like that that's going to spark this and get the ball rolling. You know what I mean? And that's another way how I was telling you guys of taking control of this frying pan trigger thing we were talking about. It's like that's another way that you guys can take dominion over this experience to where it's not like something happening haphazardly. So it's more or less you working in accordance with spirit, if that's making sense. So it's a little bit of getting a little wild this month, not too crazy, Sagittarius, but you know, just kind of not following the same order. And so, oh my gosh, this is exactly it. Why is my autofocus being mean? I just looked down at this freaking Eight of Pentacles, y'all. And like exactly what I'm talking about. Please stop being mean to me, autofocus. Like, we really thank you. If you look at what it is homegirl has on the table, like that's the energy I'm seeing, dude. That's the contrast. It's like on one side, she has all her little herbalism kind of stuff, her little candles and things. She looking like a little conjure worker or some girl, you know, doing her little herbals and whatnot. But then look what's on the other side. It's very structured and ordered things. It's like, oh, writing, you know, it's like a very kind of dull kind of energy on the other side, like intellectualism and writing and da 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 da. So like that's that very structured, ordered type of energy I'm picking up on. And then on the other side, it's more of like that creative, like free flowing kind of energy. Because me being a person who works, you know, with stuff like this, like with making my bath salts and all this other kind of stuff, it's literally an art form of taking, you know, different flowers and different salts and different essential oils. It's like you're making magic every single time. And it's not to say that a more, you know, intellectual book reading, writing, analytical, research structured process to things is not to nullify that, because those things have their place. But I feel for you guys, it's really about you turning your head into that feminine, very creative side of you in the month of March. And that's your healing and your liberation. Oh, wow. This is how it all comes together, guys. That's literally it. If I were to put this into contrasting energies as like masculine, feminine energy, right? Meaning that, like, in the energetic sense, it's like you guys have been on a continuous, um, cycle of action, and literally just like the person I was talking to, it's not taking time to rest. Like that's what masculine and feminine energy does in an energetic sense. It's action energy. I mean, masculine energy is taking action, doing things, accomplishing, right? But the feminine is passive, it's receptive, it receives, right? It allows things to be channeled through. It's where magic comes from and art and things of the sort. And you guys have been spending a lot of time in that masculine energy, do. So much so you haven't realized there's a freaking thorn in your foot. And it's like a part of you hates it. Like that's like what this resentment is really speaking to, is being resentful of like being a slave to your own responsibilities or this process, this system, your job, right? Having to do everything in this order, that's become oppressive. And that means that it's no longer serving you. So it's more or less in the month of March, it's you guys finding the courage to throw caution to the wind and to tap into that facet of yourself that does things sometimes that makes absolutely no sense. It's creating things that you may never sell or writing things people may never read, but it's just doing them for the sake of doing them, because that within itself is your blessing this month in your deliverance and how it is that you gain dominion over this. But the whole premise, like I said, with this trigger, it's more or less to remind you, much like the rest of the collective, of this once upon a time, right? Of how happy you were to do things just because once upon a time, how happy you were when you operated in that feminine energy of creativity and having that childlike wonder and perspective on life. And that's really what this transformation is speaking to. So if I were to keep it in that, because that may make more sense to some people, if we look at it as operating in that masculine, that thorn is that lack thereof of being in the feminine. And you can't transform unless that masculine and feminine become that yin and yang and are balanced, right? Now something new can be birthed, if that's making sense. So, like the magician and the high priestess would have to have a baby that would be the empress, that of which would be you, Sagittarius. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, that's been you guys' soul session for March. I hope that it helped. I thank all of you guys for coming because I know this was totally like last minute, but I'm thankful to all of you guys that came. I hope that this offered some insight into your life and your experience. If you're interested in the extended reading, it is already up on all the platforms of VIMEO and all the other kind of stuff and whatnot or whatever. But I love you guys' freaking faces, man. Michael's in here. All my peoples are in here. Hey, y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all so much. Thank y'all all for coming. But until the next time, my friends, I'll be back with Scorpio on tomorrow, and I will put that up earlier. So I won't be super last minute. But I love y'all faces. I'll see y'all sooner than later, my lovies.